this league. It's obviously not going super well, but overall, it's not going awfully. I think this is the one where we went 1-1 to. All right, no, this is not that league. Well, this is a different league. I actually don't know what happened this one. I think we played against Tron this match, and we won game one. Yeah, and then we lost the other two games. And then I think this was. I'm actually not sure. This might have been Grixis something. Play against a lot of like Grixis something decks. Or no, I think this was Blue Eye Control. We lost two tight games. With that being said, I have a lot of innovations for this deck, and more importantly, I have a little bit of hindsight about innovation, which I guess I'll touch on more as more of a discussion point. More people get on. All right, this hand is fantastic. We get to keep it. We have the option to Batter Skull, but we also just have the ability to get a sword off of their Stoneforge, which sounds really good. So they play a Luminumancer. So Brian Barra and Shooter is very good here, obviously. So this is definitely a situation where we're looking to just cast our Intruder, shrink their Dork, maybe even block it. I don't know. Probably not blocking it. If it's really big, we'll block it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's really interesting that these creatures are all 1/2s. They're very good against Dart. We're playing Squire Tribal, which is something I think I would have never imagined myself saying. But yeah, this deck is very close to being good. Well, this is pretty good. The fact that they didn't have a spell for this Lumimancer means that we're not under a whole lot of threat. The bigger issue is they have these two creatures, which are both very good. I wouldn't mind drawing an Oust off the top of our deck, but if we don't, then well, we're just gonna hope the Stoneforge is good enough, I guess. Which, you know, survey says it's probably not good enough. Okay. Yeah, but I think Stoneforge is probably our best line here. And then we can maybe play Trickster next turn, but we kind of have to Batter Skull. Hopefully we get a land, and we can work with that or something. Because then we can get another creature into play. Otherwise, we're kind of on the Batter Skull and then race them plan, like stabilize a little bit. Be really nice. Creatures just get really freaking big really fast. Like every spell they cast is going to give this +3/+3. Okay. I mean, they're playing a lot of creatures, so they're setting up for a big turn next turn. Oh my god. It's going to be a fucking colossal turn next turn. We're just going to get killed in a landslide, I guess. Honestly, double blocking this, if they don't have a removal spell, is worth it. But if they have anything, we just get fucked so hard. Okay, so we'll go to our turn. Get the draw. Yeah, okay, so we're at 7 exactly. I think we're probably just gonna put the Spatter Skull into play. It's obviously not great, but we don't really have too many better options. Depending on how they attack, we could also just put in 2 intruders and then try to like quad block their. Okay, they only have 1 other card in hand. Yeah, we might actually be on the intruder plan. But 1 card in hand makes me kind of want to play this Batter Skull too. What did they just do? They called Luris into their hand? Okay, well this is a pretty free window to get Batter Skull into play. Although we could also put Sword into play, and then we can kill 1 of their creatures, which seems fine as well. I kind of want to get Batter Skull into play. The thing is we can, if they try to block with a lot of creatures, we can actually combat trick a little bit. They do run mutagenic growth, so we do have to be scared of that, I suppose. So yeah, let's go to combat. I have to hit them for 4. If we do end up getting them to block with these 3 creatures, we're going to be in such a good position. Okay, well that's really good for us. Get the pass. I'd love to get this sword into play if we can. If we can't, I think that's also fine. Sure. If they pass here, okay, this is perfect for us. So now we get to put in the sword. And then we get to equip it to our Spectral Sailor. Assuming they don't have a Lava Dart or something, which would be quite unfortunate. But I think if they had the Lava Dart, they'd try to attack. Because they have plenty of lands, they've got the Light Scribe and everything. And they could easily just power through this turn. It's not like it has Death Touch. Like a Wormcoil Engine. And like if they had a bolt, they could have bolted the Stoneforge, or they could have pumped their Soul Scars. So I think it's safe to assume they don't have one. And if we can get this Luris off the table, then that'll be pretty good. I'm going to not attack with the Germ though, because they can block with a lot of things. Honestly, beating this deck would be quite good for us, really. And I think we have. I mean, I don't see a situation where we lose from this position. They would have to have an insane chain of Manamorphosis. Which is totally possible, but we also have access to Intruder, which is surprisingly, like, relevant here. There were a lot of positions where we could have cast it and it would have made a huge difference. But our opponent just never decided to attack or do anything, so. Yeah, so we're gonna just block like this. Stoneforge probably dies here, but I mean, what's she gonna do about it? We could also not attack with the Stoneforge, but yes, they bolt the Germ. Okay, so I think I'm gonna fetch here, and then we'll save 1 life by putting the Intruder into play. We'll shrink the Lumamancer, I think. We could have not blocked the Stoneforge, and then we would have had them dead here. But I think that's just a little bit too aggressive for my taste. It's like we're only mostly just dead next turn. We have plenty of creatures in our hand. We could also just kill their Light Scribe this turn, which I'm totally on board with. Yeah, like, we have lethal with it anyways next turn, so I think this is fine. I'm fine with just playing a Magus Elemental here. Plays really well with our Flusterstorm, which is very good against their deck. And then we could also play another Intruder. Overall, this is really good. I think they were on the play too. They led turn 1 to the Mancer. We still managed to squeeze out a victory. Feels very good. Yeah. Honestly, we take this. It's a hard matchup. Yeah, gonna make probably bringing the melodies. I think Veto's okay here, but I'm not super excited by it. Tail's End counters Lurkus, but that's about it. I think Shoal's okay here, but I think it's just worse than Melody on average. I think Veto's probably fine. But I don't know. Maybe a Tail's End just to counter Lurus. I think keeping Lurus off the table is nice. We'll just run it like that. Okay, what do I think about this hand? I have removal. I mean, honestly, I think this hand's a keep. It's definitely not your typical hand with this deck, and like not something I'd typically keep, but I think we're definitely playing more of the control role here. Like, our deck is never actually the beatdown in any matchup. It's just kind of about, like, how much can we get away with to, like, draw as many cards as possible. And normally that's a decent amount. But it's also sort of hard to play the aggro deck when you're running 4 Oust. Okay, we draw. Okay. I mean, we definitely just oust the first one of these. And then we're just going to try to control their board a little bit. We'll play Stoneforge on turn 3 with Flusterstorm back up. Or will Entrancing Melody one of their creatures turn 3? Depends how this goes. You might go like turn 2 Stoneforge into turn 3 Melody their thing. Potentially. Not sure. Looks like they're stuck on 1 land. In the case that they are stuck on 1 land, I'm going to play Stoneforge because I think we're able to just play a lot more aggressive if they're sitting on 1 line. And I'd like to just kind of force our lead down their throat, so to speak. Like, it's really unfortunate that our opponent is behind here, but this is kind of how we've been playing the game for the last league or so. Like, couple of leagues, I guess. Sport depressing when you think about it like that. And even if Stoneforge does die here, it's not even the end of the world because we still have the sword and then we have the melody to get their creature and stuff. We're pretty chilling. Yeah, so like Swift Spear Bolt my Stoneforge is probably worst case here. But if we get to untap with Stoneforge, I think it's game over. We'll see. I think if they have the bolt, they probably just play it here without thinking a whole lot. So, oh, okay. I guess they did still have it. I figured they didn't have it because they paused for so long. Okay. Yeah, and again, that's probably worst case for us, but that being worst case for us, it's still pretty good, all things considered. Okay, so we take two, sure. Go to our turn, we get to draw. Tail sound. Okay, well, that one's specifically for Luris. We could either play sword here and then try to equip it next turn, or we could melody. I think I like playing sword here a little bit more. It's soft to like dart and stuff, but if we think that they're playing or they have a dart, or if they have open mana, we could just melody next turn. We'll see. I don't know. This is kind of risky. Like, no matter how you think about it. It's interesting. A friend of mine suggested Lumimancer for our deck because it synergizes really well with Flusterstorm, and I thought that was kind of funny. But like the way our deck functions is we would not use Lumimancer very well, and our creature slots are very constricted as it is. Okay, our opponent hits us for 2. If it's only 2, that's a pretty good sign. I'm hoping they fire off a spell here, but if they don't, that's good. Dart. Dart is bad. Maybe we'll get them to sack a land as well here. Four, 5. Yeah. Well, we're just hoping they don't have interaction with their last card. So that we can get the sorted up Sailor down. But overall, I think we're probably dead here. Oh, I think we're just dead here. That's 4 more damage. I think that's exactly lethal. Yeah. Alright. Well, we finally get to be on the play, which is really good. I think this Tails End, I'm not sure if it's better or worse than anything. Hey, maybe Dovin's is just better. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I feel like Dovin's is probably pretty good, though. Tails End just seems a little too medium. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to keep Tails End. I think while it isn't the greatest card in the world, I think it's pretty good to just handle Luris without going down on cards. I mean, like, other than the fact that it's the 8th card in their hand. Or, like, extended hand. It's like an extended family. It's like a cousin of their hand. Well, this hand is kind of our nut draw as far as getting our engine online. We also have Trickster and Melody for later. I mean, this hand should be good. It's definitely not a mulligan. I'm digging for an oust or something. I think there's a very low chance this Nidmagus Elemental dies, which means that we get to go Sky Hussar, which is rad. I'd love to go Sky Hussar. Our real concern is hitting 3 lands on time, though. But if we hit 2 lands on time, we could still cast the Stoneforge. And by on time, I mean by our turn 3. If we hit Stoneforge, that's fine. Yeah, and depending on how this match develops, it's definitely a Batterskull matchup. But the thing is Batterskull sucks against their deck. If that makes sense. Like, we're It doesn't block their creatures really well, but we need to play Battered Skull, otherwise we just die. It's kind of awkward. Their deck's just really good, I guess. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, we get 2 looks at a land here. We're just looking to make our land drops. They don't even have to be. Yeah, so we have another turn to make our land drop, but we might have just lost this game. But 2 more looks is a decent number. The issue is they can kill a creature, which doesn't let us Sky Hussar, but they could also just cast like a Lava Dart, which doesn't really cost them a whole lot of mana, and it's super efficient as far as like cards go. And then we're kind of fucked. I don't think we beat Lava Dart here. Hopefully they just play creatures and then hit us. That would be the dream. Okay. Yeah, so we have our dream scenario. The issue is we're taking a lot of damage. This is 5, 7 damage. That's actually not that bad. I'm surprised they're playing Titan Strength, though. If I'm being completely honest. Okay, upkeep. We have to be forecasting again. We need this land. Okay, there we go. Right on time. Like, we were statistically pretty likely to actually bind the land, but, you know, it's refreshing either way. Yeah, Battered Skull's not terrible against their deck. The fewer cards they have in hand, the better Battered Skull gets. But when they have these stocked hands, Battered Skull's pretty bad. The issue is Battered Skull needs to be coming down early when they still have those stocked hands. I think we just have to take it. The issue is we might just be dead here. Both us, sure. So that's 3, 4, so that's 6 damage, 7 damage. Plus. Wow, okay. Yeah. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. We'll play one more match, and then if we end up losing this one, I'm going to do a bit of a little evaluation, which I think will be good. I think it'll be very good. I might even break it off into its own little video bracket, and if anybody finds it useful, I guess I could upload it to YouTube. Okay, I'd love to play first. Honestly, this hand isn't terrible. I'll keep it. It's the thing, our deck has so many, like, decent draws. It's like, we just draw a hand with Stoneforge Mystic, and it's okay. It's not bad. But yeah, there's definitely a couple things that I want to rework here. Namely, I think Shola's okay in this deck, but I think it's not as good as it was, / there are better cards to be playing. And I think the deck is a little bit unfocused as far as what it was. I guess what I'm trying to touch on is that we had a nice, simple, streamlined strategy here. And I think a little bit of that was lost when we decided to splash. And most of that comes with the our choices of spells, and less so to do with the choices of creatures. Okay, our opponent's playing Jeskai Trio, and they have a Saheeli icon. I mean, this could be Jeskai Fires. This could be... we only have one choice with the Stoneforge fetch, by the way. But I think I'd like to be fetching Sword of Fire and Ice. I think Sword of Fire and Ice is the best equipment we have here to fetch. And that's what's going to be filed in as well. So this is red, blue, white, green, explore, Valakut. So this isn't like Naya Titan, but this is Titan of some flavor. Okay, so we draw for turn. Okay. Well, I'll play the island. Go to combat. Yeah, we could play ball there and then play sword next turn, which sounds fine. But I kind of want to get the extra creature in play, and then we can still play sword next turn. And we could violin maul next turn too. So we get like everything. We just lose 2 damage and then get a Spectral Sailor in play, which gives us 1 damage. So it's like we're down 1 damage, but we're up on mana. Because we pay 2 for the Skyclave instead of 3. So they're Teferrying. Sure. So we let this resolve. But actually, we should have played the Spectral Sailor. That's my bad. Do we... I think here we actually want to put the Batterskull into play. So the Batterskull can at least kill the Teferi. Or we can kill the Teferi with our Stoneforge. I think there's a pretty decent argument for either. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna hardcast Sword. This gets us a little bit more damage, so we'll... they've got Bolt, maybe? Yeah, I'm just gonna hit the Fairy here. Okay, and then we could actually equip the sword now. I think they might have trouble beating it, but I'm honestly not sure. Obviously, I don't have to equip main phase 1 because I'm hitting the Teferi. Although, I guess I could have hit them with this. Yeah, that might have been a small minuscule misplay. Okay, our germ is kind of swole. I mean, we kind of just assembled Cauldron, I guess. Okay, upkeep, we're gonna tap their Omnath. That should be game. Because now they don't gain their 4 life. They also get a lot less mana. Nice. 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 Okay. A little bit of a Abyss sequencing with our sword equips. Lost us a card. and some damage, but overall not bad. I mean, this is definitely a veto matchup. We're definitely interested in Tail's End, like 100%. Again, Shoal's not great here. Shocking. And then I think Oust is also not great here. And we'll run it back. Hold right, and then we will resize. We will mulligan because this hand is ass. Alright. Well, this hand is also not great. Well. I guess we're keeping. We'll bottom Batter Skull. Hollow Fountain. And then we're just kind of on the Merfolk Trickster. Equip Sword to it and then hope that's good enough plan. Which doesn't sound like a good plan. Okay. Well, that's maybe useless. I'm actually not sure. They're on Bring the Light, it's alright. But I didn't see black last game. They looked pretty 4-color to me. Seems like their type of deck would be a Yorion deck, you know? Okay, we get to go to our turn. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to just get this Trickster into play, but if we have to counter something, I'm fine with that. I'm just not happy about it, I guess. I'm happy if we can keep countering things, to an extent, I suppose. They kept the Jukabog in. Interesting. Okay, I'd imagine they didn't bring the Jukabog in, if that makes sense. So I don't think it makes sense to have Bajuka Bach in your deck. Okay, we're on the Delver of Secrets plan, I guess. Protect Aqueen, Zimba Flickster. Okay, what are we doing? Our opponent's got not all math mana. They don't have blue. Which is rocking for us. How useless are our cards? We could have brought in a null from the board. Because we knew they were probably playing Triad. That would have made a little bit of sense. I kind of forget enchantment creatures exist sometimes. I'll be completely honest. Okay, well, I'm going to play this sword. As we don't have an answer to Omnath anyways, and then we're just going to pray for the best. I think we're probably going to lose to Valakut here, is my guess. Because they play Valakut, they have the 5 other mountains, and then they get to kill our Trickster. But they didn't have the Valakut. Okay. I'll take it, I guess. Playing Flagstones now means they don't even have the Valakut in their hand. Although if they did, they probably would have played it. Killed their Trickster. Okay. Our opponent casts a Madcap Experiment. Well, that's fucking awkward. Imagine if we had answers to that, but we thought they were gonna Omnath us. Yeah, so we have Oust as an out to this, so it's not like we're just kind of rage playing for the sake of playing, I guess. Our opponent might be averse to attacking us, because we have a 4/4 with throw blue and red, but the issue is we can't actually deal damage to them because their life total can't change. If our opponent doesn't say no to these, which they won't, then we'll concede. I think some number of annuls are definitely in order. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think we'll cut another oust and we'll bring in an annul. Something like that. Doesn't really change a whole lot, honestly. Veto is better than we thought it would be. We had two in our hand, and they didn't do anything because we were... I want some interaction. Fuck. I guess that's what I get for being picky. That sounds great, though. How many do we have to bottom? The bottom two? I guess we have to say goodbye to sword. I'm gonna say goodbye to land here. I think this is correct. We have interaction and we have Hussar. So we get to lead on Storm Tamer, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays Misty Rainforest. Fetches, sure. Fisher Flamer. Okay, well we're gonna go to our turn. Get to play our Rheinbauer Intruder. Forecast a little bit. Draw for turn. We hit our land, which is perfect. It's exactly where we want to be. Our opponent can kind of toolbox their lands now, which is pretty annoying. Can be problematic once they get Valakut and stuff. Once they get Valakut like closer to being online. Okay, well, I'm gonna get an island. Get to play Nidmagus. Oops. Get to play Nidmagus. Pass the turn. And this is basically like the dream scenario for us. We have veto. We just want to be drawing into more counter spells. Preferably. So they cast Explore. They get to play another land. It's a Valakut. If we can keep Dryad off the table, I think we can win this pretty handily. So yeah, we're going to forecast, but we'll attack with Storm Tamer. Okay, well, I'll draw. Okay. Hit them for 1. Can Trickster stop anything? Not really, no. I think we're on the veto this one. We're gonna just do what we did last turn. Okay. I think I'm just gonna take the draw step. I could flash in the Trickster to get another draw, but I don't think it's worth it. We'll get the draw next turn. And I'd rather have the open mana in case you drew a Tail's End. But now we can Trickster their Omnath or their other nonsense. Curious what land they get here, though. Sure. Yeah, it's just fixing. It's pretty innocuous. I mean, they get a 3/4, but like whatever. Three cards in hand. They play that Flagstones this turn? Wow, okay. Well, I think I'm in the market to just Trickster here, and then I get to cast this Intruder too. Hey, that's a combo right there. Combo. Okay, opponent search on. Need me? Okay. I shoot it over. I'll read it after this match. We're basically done. It's gonna kind of be like, does my opponent have it, or does my opponent not have it? Okay, well, I just want to play my Intruder. Okay, let's go Hussaring. Draw. Okay, well, let's Hussar again. Draw. Let's draw. Okay. Combat. Yeah, but we kind of got to do our thing this game, which is good. Okay. What's going on here? We're playing Morphone Insects. I love how they kind of like reference Scoop Mob with that card. I think that's really cool. I actually don't know what our opponent's going to do here. I'm obviously very scared of Madcap Experiment. I'm also really scared of Dryad, which it looks like they just don't have. Anola's great against Dryad, but they're playing Scapeshift too. What? Okay, well, if they try to Exaxes kill us, we get to sacrifice the Storm Tamer, I guess. The issue is I think they... I honestly didn't think they were on Valakut. I mean, like, Scapeshift. I mean, they have the mountains, yes, but... What is it? 6 cards. What's this? Show at least 5 other mountains. So I guess they have second Valakut and then 5 mountains, and then we're dead. Yeah, so they're only hitting us 6 times here, right? Oh, plus Flagstones? That's kind of rough, actually. Well, I mean, maybe they're out of Triumphs? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess we counter this, and then we just see if they have it. Hey! Okay, I thought there was a low chance that they actually had another Flames Mountain. That would have been tragic. I mean, the thing is they can't kill us with this Elvish Reclaimer because Merfolk Trickster's the most broken card in Modern. I swear to God, if they have Lightning Bolt in their hand, I'm gonna be so sad. Attack his opponent. Oh, baby. I mean, sure, but we could just pretend like that won't happen. But we could also draw another Storm Tamer next turn, though. We've got that going for us. Okay, well, let's go to our upkeep. We're gonna do some, like, minimalistic Hussaring. We'll see, like, how much we need to do. And see what we draw. If we draw a Storm Tamer, I think we could afford to keep Hussaring. Well, actually, no, I guess we just need the Hussar until we find a Storm Tamer, right? We also have the Tails Ends in here, too. So we actually have a lot of Stifles. We have 6 more Stifles in deck. Oh, that's not a Stifle. We also tapped a Magus Elemental. Oh, that's whatever. Okay, we'll draw. Do we hit a Stifle? Not quite. I think Stoneforge is pretty bad here. Well, I guess we'll hit them for 2. I mean, I think their deck is pretty light on mountains at this point. I think it's pretty safe to say. Because they've already had a lot of mountains in play, too. They've had 3. Yeah, I don't think they play that many mountains. Because that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mountains. I can't imagine they play too many more than that. It's not like the deck has... I can play for Cottage Skull life gain. Maybe, I don't know. Seems a little loose. Okay, this might be an issue. 10 to 11. 3. Oh, if this is Omnath, we're in a bit of a world of hurt. This is... What is this? I'm kind of just curious what our opponent's playing, honestly. So Elvish Reclaimer kills us if they have another mountain. Next turn. Like 100%. Unless, of course, we draw another Stifle. Or draw a Stifle. We didn't happen this turn. This is actually really good. So we're actually going to cast Trickster here first. And then we're going to Flusterstorm. And then we have Lethal. So the trick here is that you want them to tap. You want them to just say no to the first copy. And that's actually a lot of people's like gut instinct is to just say no. But if they say no to the first copy, then we get to eat all the other copies and then they die. And then we wait. And then we wait. All right, opponent. Look, they just say no. They just say no. I mean, like, if they have a bolt for the Nimagus, I'm not playing around it because we just died a bolt. All right, opponent. Do you have us? Or have you just been clapped by our superior technology? It's too easy. It's too easy. All right, well, we finally managed to win a match. God bless. God bless. Okay, so actually, wait, I said I was going to take a better look at this deck. Okay. So we're playing 5 mana insects. No, I actually have a lot of changes that I want to make to this that I think are going to make this a lot better. Clockwork Swarm. Jesus Christ, I cannot read this card to save my life. The play put 4+1+0 counters on it. So what does Clockwork Swarm do, though? Is it just there for the meme? Yeah, I think it's a good meme. Oh yeah, Hoarder Queen, these are all insects, too. Holy shit, it's so good. It's so good. I actually think this is just an absolute baller list. I love it. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's hot. It's a 4/3 for 4 colorless. Okay, so why does that matter? If I'm missing something? Because it's not like we're playing Animar, where that would be free past a certain point. What matters is an insect. True, true, true. You know, how could I be? Oh, you could be playing Delver of Secrets in this deck, right? I mean, it would be really bad, but you could play Delver. Alright, let's play another one. I mean, okay, so most of the matches we're losing are on really small margins. And I think a couple of, like, quality of life improvements to this deck are really in order. Okay, so Jack, hear me out, hear me out. We've got these Tricksters, which are really solid. But I was thinking about adding some number of remans. And Trickster obviously isn't the card to go. So I'm pretty sure it's actually Shoal. And while Shoal is good in here, I think Shoal is good against the decks that Stoneforge and Oust are good against. So I think I'd rather just have access to remans. And then I was also thinking that we want some number of Meddling Mage in the deck. Because I really fucking hate Amulet Titan. And the good thing about Remand and Meddling Mage is they kind of have that little synergy going on because you get information. And but I'm not sure where Mage comes in, so I kind of wanted your help with that. I'm pretty sure we moved the Tricksters to the sideboard because there's matchups where Trickster's really good, but there's a lot of matchups where Trickster's just a flash bear, which is good, but I think Meddling Mage is better than Trickster in like some game ones. But like a split of them in some way between main and side is probably in order. Maybe just the Meddling Mages side. Like just slam 4 Meddling Mages in the sideboard. It is probably better. But yeah, like maybe yeah, that's the question, I guess. Is do we want the mage or the... Well, I guess they're all wizards. Or the Trickster. I feel like Trickster is really synergistic with our game plan. But I feel like mage is at far off too. Like they're both solid disruptive creatures. I think in a deck where you're trying to hold up Remand, Trickster's really good though. Like, I mean, Mage is good in those same situations, because you just hold up Remand and then you slam Mage. This is a keep. Sorry, opponent, for tanking for like a year. Just doing a bit of thinking. This hand's great, though. We've got Shoal pitching... Storm Tamer? Maybe Nigmagus. Maybe Shoal pitching Nigmagus. And then we also have the draw engine going, and then we have Stoneforge to actually win the game. Kind of a nut 7. I mean, that's the really good thing about Shoal, is that it lets us interact with our opponent on their turn 1. But, like, everything past that in Shoal is worse than Remand. Okay, so we're gonna go to our... Like, this is definitely a deck that wants Force of Negation. Not because Force of Negation is necessarily better than Shoal, but I think Force of Negation is very good because it's just never dead. So, like, Shoal has its power level super skewed to the early game. But if you don't have anything that's skewed towards the later game, or like the big mana decks that like accelerate into the later game quickly, then your interaction suite is just totally out of balance. Yeah, the thing is Remand's good early, but it's also good against the big mana decks. Exactly. Remand was in one of the earlier drafts of this deck right here. But yeah, I think... so our opponent's on Ovash Prowess. They're on Gigantha something, actually. But either way, it's worth trading the extra card for more cards. Smuggler's Copter worse than Stoneforge in this list? I mean, that's the question I'm kind of asking. I think Stoneforge is better, in my experience. So what I've played so far, this is one of the best, if not the best, Sword of Fire and Ice to have ever existed in Magic the Gathering. Not that it's necessarily a good deck, but that Sword of Fire and Ice is absolutely nuts. We've got 8 1-mana evasive flyers, plenty of flash creatures. Like, Copter's okay. Copter has, like, decent synergy. We're not on Throne of the God Pharaoh, because that card was too clunky. But... I think Copter actually has more anti-synergy than it has synergy. Stoneforge likes to be played in these draw-go blue decks. Stoneforge loves being played in blue decks, but it's also fine with being played in other decks as well, obviously. But you could actually use the Stoneforge body in this deck to forecast the Sky Hussar. And then when you're trying to use the Sky Hussar, you would need 3 creatures to forecast Sky Hussar and crew the Copter. And then Copter would also just die to Bolt sometimes, and it gives literally no value for a 2-mana card. It's great against sorcery speed interaction, but I think overall the card is just weaker than Stoneforge, which obviously makes sense. It's weaker than Stoneforge, but I think in this deck it's also just worse. The thing is, too, is if you draw Stoneforge, like I think, we played a game, I think we might have lost the game, but the point being is that we played a Stoneforge, or we drew a hand, we had Stoneforge, and then some counter spells, and if we had that hand, but with Smuggler's Copter, we couldn't keep it. But with Stoneforge, we're actually able to keep those hands. Dart. Zoinks. Yeah, Lava Dart's very good against this deck. We actually are playing basically Squire Tribal, though, between these 2 creatures and Niv Magus Elemental. And then our non-Squire creatures are like Siren Storm Tamer. It's actually kind of humorous. But yeah, like, we have the option of Vialing in the Sword or forecasting the Sky Hussar this turn, which is pretty metal. And we could also just play another Stoneforge, or if we draw a land, we can play the Sword. And I think digging for a land with the Sky Hussar kind of makes sense. Or our opponent just gives us the land. I mean, that works too, you know, that game. Oh, the other thing our deck needs is I think we can play a Basic Plains. I think Basic Plains is awkward with all of our heavy blue spells, but I don't think it's atrocious. Okay, our opponent is... Oh, that was on our turn. Yeah, that makes sense. Opponent's at 16 though. I don't hate our position. I think this is fun. I don't really understand what's going on with our opponent's deck though. I assume it's some sort of red-white prowess deck, but it's playing Path to Exile, and then Gigantha's kind of weird. Like, why play Gigantha when you could probably play Luris? Like, what does that mean? Do they have, like, Monastery Mentor? Because this kind of feels more like a mid-range deck because of Gigantha, Path, and even Abbott, which we just saw now, I guess. I do not know. They both are creature. Sure. I mean, it definitely feels like a mid-range deck with how they're playing this game, too. I don't know, part of me wants to just jam this sword. But the other part of me wants to play 2 creatures. I think playing 2 creatures is probably correct. Go creature, search. We put in Maul, too. Maul was a great addition. Yeah, I think creatures are good. Also, just getting the Stoneforge in play puts another threat for our opponent to deal with, and they've used 4 1-mana removal spells. I mean, odds are they probably don't have another one. And if they do, we can, what the what? Why would you both me? I'm at 17. Okay. I was like, well, I could show pitching Sailor to save my Stoneforge here, but, yeah, I don't know. Okay, that makes sense. Don't really have an answer to that. Opponent kind of whiffs there. It's good. Feels good. Why does it feel like? Do we counter those? I'm honestly... I'm not going to counter those. I think our plan is to just get Sword into play next turn, and then kill our opponent's creatures that way. I think we just have to take it here. If they have removal for Stoneforge, it feels bad, but if they have removal for Stoneforge, I think they cast it now to get the pump. If they don't cast it now, I'm going to be a little confused. Yeah, this is like Abbott Prowess with Path to Exile. They managed to fit Fireball to their deck, light up the stage. They're running Gigantha as their companion instead of... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just confused all around. We want to get the Sailor into play now. If they have removal, it feels bad, but if we draw a land, we can play an equipped sword. No, I don't know why they're not playing Luris. They have to be playing something. My gut instinct was they were killing all of our creatures. They're playing Abbott. They're playing some sort of prowessy mid-range deck with Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then they really want to play Monastery Mentor, so they can't play. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, what do we do here? Honestly, probably just on the Batterskull plan. I don't think Monastery Mentor is a modern playable card, like 90% of the time. Okay, well, we get the pass. I'm actually not convinced they could beat a Batterskull. Like, we play Batterskull and then protect with this Shoal. Like, I'm not sure what they're supposed to do against that, but we'll see. We shall see. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Black Monastery Mentor. I think that card is very good. I think that card's very interesting. I'd love to play with that card and Flusterstorm. That sounds like an absolute fucking dream. I think we have to counter this. I think it's just too good. But that could be incorrect. Alright. Well, we've got our grip of memes in our hand. If they don't attack, we're going to put in the sword. Then if they do attack, then we're going to put in the batter skull. I think either way, they just kind of get slapped here. Did they know about the batter skull, by the way? No, that we haven't revealed the batter skull. So they might just attack here. Oh boy. Our poor opponent. Our poor opponent. But were you aware that a third equipment was forged? What equipment to rule them all? Okay, our opponent's thinking. They're thinking. Yeah, I mean, they could just have another path. I don't actually know why they're playing path in their deck. What? Why are they playing path? Okay. Opponent randomly has path to exile. Okay. With 2 path to exiles? Like, this is game 1. What? I mean, we're basically on, like, being able to equip Batter Skull at this point. We could also just vial and equip this sword to our Spectral Sailor and then kill their board. Okay. Does that kill us? 7, 8? No? Sure. Oh, if we draw an island, our opponent's kind of fucked. Okay. Opponent has nothing. Island, equip Batter Skull. Slap our opponent, please. They call Giganta to their hand, sure. Draw. Okay, that works too. Okay, so we basically have to just hope they brick next turn. But I could swing at them for 1 here. And then equip this small. And then... yeah, I think I'm going to hit them for 1 here. Put them to 10. This doesn't play around haste creature, but... then I get to oust their habits. You get to pass. And then we can block and then put in this maul. And then our plan is to just equip this Batter Skull eventually, I guess. Why does our opponent have 2 cards in hand? Oh, they Giganta. Yeah. Well, isn't that just unfortunate? I wonder, did we have the island? No, not really. We were not going to hit 5 mana. We could have still, like, stabilized if we drew counter spells, I guess. Melody's great here. Soul's fine. But, like, Oust is better. Like, I don't mind this. This is kind of, like, pretty chill. Yeah, we're just gonna try this again. Okay, so what do we care about? Like, I'm trying to think if, like, if Trickster or if Meddling Mage is, in general, better in the main deck. Because I think both cards are really good. Honestly, I just don't know. Okay, what do we... I guess you'd have to make, like, a matchup spreadsheet and then figure out, like, which card is better where. I feel like, on average, Meddling Mage disrupts more than Trickster does. I feel like Trickster ends up gaining life, but it doesn't end up, like, killing creatures. Now, that's not bad. Like, 2 mana gain a bit of life, or 2 mana tap down your blocker, kill you with the Giant Magus Elemental. It's not awful. It's definitely not awful. I think it warrants a sideboard slot for the creature-y matchups. Okay, would I like to play first? You know it, opponent. You know I'd like to play first. Woo! Oh, what an absolute trip of a hand. I'm gonna say mulligan on this one. Sounds better. Keep it. Do I keep the maul in my hand? For what though? I feel like the other cards in my hand are just better than maul. Get to play Storm Tamer. Pass. This is good though. I think, yeah, maybe 2 more iterations of testing, and the deck should be good. The deck should be very good. If the deck isn't good by 2 more iterations, so I'm counting the next one where we're testing remans and I think for the sake of testing, I'd like to play the Meddling Mage's main deck, just see how good they are. Because I haven't really played with the card before. Okay, Flusterstorm's pretty alright. I think we're just jamming this Stoneforge though. Our opponent's choice to play Path to Exile really has to be tripped up though. They have so much removal. Like, it's not even like burn, it's just removal. I don't even know how many paths they're playing. But if they path, it's really good for us. I think we're getting a sword here. Meddling Mage and the new black-white version. Just a swing. The black... Oh, there's the black-white. It's the... Opponent loses 3 life, you draw a card 1, right? Okay. Yeah, you could totally play like an Esper Hate Bears deck. You could run Thalia, and then you could run Tide Hollow Sculler. And you've got like such a nice massive 2s. It sounds fun. I don't think it would be an Arbiter deck. I think you probably just play a mana base that's not awful. Okay, well, unfortunately for us, our opponent decided to Lightning Bolt our Stoneforge. Elite Spellbinder. I actually don't remember what Elite Spellbinder does. Which one's that one? Wait, is that the new the 3/1 white click without flash? Hell yeah. I didn't think you could play more than one of those though. Maybe 2 tops. I feel like it's just worse than Flicker Wisp most of the time. Okay, our opponent just randomly does nothing on turn 3. Alright. I respect it. I respect it. We're just both struggling on lands. Okay, beat them down. Okay. I guess that's working. I'm just gonna draw to the slump with Brandbarrow. Intruder. If our opponent tries to kill it, I can Flusterstorm. Holy shit, it's too good. It's too clean. It's really interesting that in a deck where I draw so many cards, I feel like I get Niv Magus Elemental plus Flusterstorm less often than I get Hooting Mandrills plus Thought Scour. Funny little thought there. Okay, getting 3 damage is nice, but a card is better. Draw. Opponent. Opponent with the tactical tanking at 7 cards in hand. Alright, well, I get a card. Okay, well that's really good. Yeah, if that card had flash, I'd actually play it in this deck. I was thinking about it. I really wish that card had flash too. I think they could have put flash on it and it wouldn't have been too unbelievably pushed. I think white deserves good cards. Wow. This is fucking ambitious. Why the fuck would you wait to cast Stomp when you could just cast Stomp earlier and then not let me Flusterstorm and eat copies with the Niv Magus Elemental? Just a hot take here, you know? Like, maybe our opponent could have just cast it sooner. Okay, I'm gonna eat 2 copies. Then I'm just gonna yield until my end step. Okay, so we have a 5/6. Our opponent has nothing. Honestly, being able to counter something and then put counters on your Niv Magus Elemental still for 1 mana is the most broken feeling in the entire universe. Doesn't always win you the game. Like, this might just get pathed or something, but it's still really good. The thing is if they do path it, we can draw a land and then play and equip this sword. And I think if we play an equipped sword, it's basically game over unless they have an upgrade. But our opponent's stuck on land, and they're not drawing 2 cards every turn, so I don't know. Sucks to suck, I guess. But yeah, so like we took out Unsubstantiates, and then we brought in, or we put in these Oust, because I think Oust is a really solid card. And I wanted to have board game against these red prowess stats. But we had no counter spells. It was so bad. Actually don't know how we won any games. Like, we're basically a deck that's designed to be okay against combo decks, control decks, and we just had no agency on the stack outside of Flusterstorm. So, like, we've been winning the games where Flusterstorm has been good, but all the games where Flusterstorm hasn't been good, we've just been useless. Oh, salutations, Praxis. Welcome in. Yeah, I would have definitely taken off flying from the card. Oh, I'd put on flash, you know? I would have definitely appreciated that. Okay, they rip apart our Trickster. It's kind of rude. The Niv Magus Hive Mind. Welcome to the Niv Magus Master Race. Enjoy your stay. I think we're definitely clocking our opponent for 6 here and then playing a sword. Or it just gets pathed. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully we draw a land and we can sort up our Brineborn Infiltrator. Wow. Better lucky than good. Oh yeah, I mean, popping them for 1 it's a win. It's a moral victory, honestly. Or we could play the Sky Hussar. Imagine how much better Sky Hussar would be over. But the best part is we can attack next turn, and then we can untap it with Sky Hussar. How insane is that? So when you have one ability in the triggered zone, I feel like you should be able to just like automatically be like have it like kind of like in your hand, and then you could just click your opponent instead of having to click the trigger and then click your opponent. You know? Just a thought. I guess that might be prone to more misclicks though. Maybe that would be a setting that you could toggle on and off. But we don't want quality of life improvements. We don't want those. This doesn't even die to anger of the gods. Like, how pushed is this card? It's a 1-mana creature with flash, and it's a 1/2. Like, it's unplayable and limited, but it's so broken and constructed. I don't know. And by constructed, I mean, I think this might be the only deck it sees playing. Uro 2.0 gonna have flash. You know it. I mean, Uro's just unplayable. Like, imagine paying 3 at sorcery speed to cantrip and gain some life and get a land in play. And holy shit, our opponent is literally insane. They're going to cast Light Up the Stage. Ridiculous. Into another Light Up the Stage. Alright, I respect it. I respect it. They might just play that next turn. To be honest. Opponent's dead in 2 though, so they'd have to have like a miracle to kill us. I know, it's unplayable. And then people are talking about how good the escape body is, but I just don't see it. You're paying 4 mana. I don't know how you're supposed to hit blue, blue, green, green in Modern. That just sounds ridiculously hard. People are talking about playing that in multicolored mana bases, and I think that's just ridiculous. Okay, well, we lost our sword, which kind of makes me sad. But we could top deck a Batter Skull and slam it, or we could just slam the Sky Hussar. Okay, opponent, prepare to feel the wrath of my superior technology. I've actually won the game by just beating down with multiple Sky Hussars. I love it. Meow. Meow. Alright, perfect. To pass it back to our opponent. We have 2 blockers. I just don't feel like our opponent wins this game ever. Like, I guess our opponent could just kill our creatures with their Firebolt and Burst Lightning. So maybe it was just wrong to play the Sky Hussar this turn. Yeah. Honestly, it might have been wrong to play the Sky Hussar this turn. Yeah, that was probably a mistake. I got so excited to play Sky Hussar, though. I was talking shit about Uro, because that card's unplayable. Like, you can't actually play it in Modern. Maybe for other reasons, but they're not going to be disclosed here. Okay, I'm just going to pass the turn. Okay, opponent doing absolutely nothing. You love to see it. Okay, Abbot of Carol Keep. It's actually kind of bug. Grrr. I just can't believe our opponents had so much removal for a deck. It's kind of absurd. I'm not killing them as infiltrator. I'd much rather just oust this. Yeah, but I feel like our deck isn't racing a whole lot. One of the big advantages of oust is that you could flusterstorm it. Like you could flusterstorm a unsubstantiate. Unsubstantiate usually had targets. But I don't know. I feel like oust is generally pretty alright. Because I feel like most of the time when you're playing against red prowess, you're not actually racing them. You're just trying to get to a board state where they cannot win. Oh. Key. What's funny is we can actually oust their Soulscar Mage, and then they won't gain life for it. How metal is that? It's actually kind of funny. I like that interaction. I like it. No, I don't want to... I think I'm going to oust and eat it, actually. I'm doing this because I want this Nivagus Elemental to survive Bolt, and then we can oust their Soulscar Mage next turn. It's a little greedy. This deck should have another fetchable white source. We have too many white spells for us to not have a basic plains or something. I honestly kind of want them to keep their Rampaging Ferocidon, I'll be honest. I think it's kind of funny. Although I might end up regretting that statement. I don't know where they're going to be bolting this turn. I'd imagine it's probably the Niv Magus, but it could just be the Intruder, or me. Okay, so they're going to attack. Yeah, well, I'm going to just... Yeah, no, for sure. I will catch you around. I think I'm just going to take it and see what they do. Kind of curious. Really want to know what I'm drawing. I really want to know. So much depends on what I actually end up drawing. Our opponent's just a mad tankin. Did they DC? Oh. Okay, they're both in this. Perfect. I want to keep this Niv Magus Elemental alive. for just a little bit. We get to get rid of their Soul Scar Mage, which removes a lot of the complications. Yeah, they can start firebolting us next turn. We're only taking 5 here, which is pretty alright. We got a 6. We're at like a soft 2 life because, yeah. Well, we go a little bit lower than that. We go to 4. But we could go to 2 if they decide to flash it back, which honestly doesn't seem like a bad idea. I'm hoping to draw a Flusterstorm, then this Nimag's Elemental gets very large. Okay, we're gonna draw. We're gonna get rid of this for Asadon, I think. Like, it's just too problematic. The Soul Scar Mage is really problematic too, though. That's the thing. Pass. Yeah, I think we're kind of mildly bopped here. We're not like mega bopped though, just mildly bopped. 3, 1, 2. I mean, Abbott's still a 3 power creature through this dart. They just have 2 other cards, but one of them is Gigantha, which is pretty useless. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to. I was going to Trickster the Soul Scar in response to them casting a spell. Okay. Okay. Don't really know what opponent's doing. Oh, they have another Firebolt. That's not good at all. I think we're just dead. I just dead to the start. Alright, well. Yeah, it's a pretty disappointing 1-4. We could have done a little bit better. But we do have a couple of takeaways. So I think Shoal is probably not the direction this deck wants to be. We're going to be running Revamp. And then we're also going to try to run some number of Meddling Baits in the deck. To make room for that, I think Mistcaller is... Well, okay, so I think Veto's fine, maybe as a 1-of. We'll cut down to 2 and all. And I think we're a little bit too heavy on... His Tail's End already counters Heliod. So running something like this makes sense, and then maybe running second Veto's probably better. Something like this. And then the 4 Meddling Mages. With that being said, I'm going to sign off. Catch y'all later.